Hello, my name is Maurice Harris, and I'll be doing the teacher's assignment for Liberty University Bible lesson. Um, so I'll be doing coming from First John 3:16 through 18. First John 3:16 through 18. And I'll read it first, and then I'll go through it verse by verse and give you my take on it. So First John 3:16 through 18 says, "We know love by this, that He laid down His life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoever has the world's goods and sees his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him? Little children, let us not love with word or with tongue, but in deed and truth." And I'll be reading from that was from the New American Standard Version. So we know love by this. So verse 16 goes ahead and gives us a standard love. The standard of love that God had for us as his children. And he loved us so much that he laid down his life for us. And that sounds similar to actual John 3:16, the one that said God so loved the world that he gave his only son for us, which is another standard of love that God gives us a great example of. So it says, we know love by this, that he had laid down his life for us. So ultimately he loved us so much that he laid down his life for us. And it says we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. And as I read the second part of verse 16, I kind of went to the idea of, is this passage saying that we should die for our brothers? We should lay down our lives for them. Is that the standard of love that we should have to prove our love for our brothers? But I think here in the second part is where we see that we ought to lay down some things. And I don't really mean that it means literal life. I think it means that we should lay down our if we have extra resources, we should be able to give some to our brother. If we have extra time, we should be able to give to those who need our time. Anything that we have that we can lay down, that we can set aside, that we can give to somebody else. I believe that this passage is what God is desiring for us, but that we love them so much that we're willing to lay down our lives for them. We're willing to give up something for them. We're willing to make a sacrifice for us the same way God made a sacrifice for us and laid down his life for us. On to verse 17, it says, "But whoever has the world's goods and sees his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him?" And I think verse 17 is more specific with when it says the world's goods. So that could be your time, your talents, your resources, your food, giving somebody an extra ride to work. So if we see somebody in need, how we can show that we love them, if we see them in need and we offer to help them. But if we see them in need and we do not offer any help, then the question is raised, how does the love of God abide in him? Or how does the love of God abide in us? How can we say that we love God, but we won't lay down our life for our brother? We won't help our brother. We have the world's deeds. We have the world's goods, should I say, and we won't offer them up. We drive past homeless people every day and we won't give them $1. We see situations where people have ran out of gas on the side of the road and we won't stop and try to meet their need. So if we won't do these things, then how can we say that we honestly love our brothers? And how can we honestly have the love of God in us? And then verse 18 says, "Little children, let us not love with word or tongue, but in deed and in truth." I believe that this is a very powerful statement for a few reasons. The first reason is God says little children here. And I began to ponder why the word little children was used. And I believe God used the word children to humble us. So we would have the minds like children. So we would take our innocence on back to being childlike. In that form, and then I also believe from the scriptures that he's wrapping his arms around us and teaching us like a father would teach their children. He said, "Little children, let us not love with word or tongue." Powerful, powerful. So here, God is saying that love is an action. It's not just a word. It's not just something you say. I need to see you do something about it. If you love me, the Bible says, if you love me, God says, if you love me, obey my commandments. I need you to do something. Don't just tell me that you love me. Obey my commandments. So I believe it's the same thing here when he's saying, let us not love with word or tongue. So it's nothing to tell somebody you love them. You have to show them. It's like, husband and wife, if you tell your spouse you love them, and it doesn't hold as much weight as when you tell them that you love them, but you also show them. When you show your spouse that you love them, they're more likely to believe it. So it says, but in deeds and in truth. So that means you have to do something, a deed, a good deed. You have to do something to prove your love the way God did something by going to the cross and dying for us to prove his love for us. And this is my Bible lesson for the last week of class. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it blesses you. And just remember that love in this text is an action word. It means you have to do something. You have to show something. Love in action. I think as I was doing my outline, my outline says it's important to show love. It's important to show love, not just say love, not just to speak love, but to show love. Have a blessed day.